Okay, I believe we're live.
Okay. May I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone. Sean is not available to be here today, so I'll be chairing today's meeting. It's 4:32 p.m. and we'll call this meeting to order of the Cultural Vitality Committee. I acknowledge with respect that we are in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and known as Wuwatting. Wuwatting is home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. The next item on our agenda is to have adoption of the minutes from our last meeting, which was dated May 17th of 2023. Could I have someone to move and to second those minutes? Thank you, Miranda, and someone to second. Thank you, Larry.
I think I was there.
You were not there, Larry.
So I can't second.
You cannot, but I did see someone else's hand go. Thank you. It's Bree, right?
Brenna, yeah.
Brenna. Okay, thank you, Brenna. All right, so moved by Miranda, seconded by Brenna. Any questions, concerns, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of those minutes? And that is carried. Thank you. If I could just take a moment, Alicia, I see Angela Caputo there. Hello, Angela. And I'm just, I cannot recognize the person who is sitting beside Angela on the right.
Me, Lewis.
Okay, thank you. You're very far away. On my screen, you're far away.
I didn't
Okay.
catch the name.
Yeah.
Who? I didn't catch the name. I'm sorry.
No, it's Luis Moreno.
Okay. Anyone have a pecuniary interest declaration to make today? Seeing none, we'll move on to adoption of the agenda. Could I have someone to move and to second today's agenda? Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Richard. Any questions, concerns, or additions, deletions to today's agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of today's agenda? And that is carried. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the Arts and Culture Assistance application update. And I believe, is it Alicia, are you taking this or is Virginia?
I'll take this.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll share my screen here. One moment, please. And I'm just bringing up the agenda package, which I'll have in front of you, but just that we're taking a look. We're looking at the incorporated not-for-profit arts and culture application. I'm hoping that are you able to see the writing on the screen as well? Everybody? Or is that just me? Okay, unfortunately, move it. There we go. That's great. I'll put it here. Great. Okay, so I'd like you to draw your attention to the incorporated not-for-profits arts and culture assistance program application form. I worked with Brenna and Miranda to redevelop the existing document. Some of the pieces that we looked at in particular were just making it more administratively friendly, but also easier for the committee members to evaluate, and then to looking forward at our applicants as well and making it easy for them to navigate the program just by the information that they're submitting. There aren't any major changes. It's more about how the information is compiled. So looking here, most of these, there are 3 separate forms. They basically follow the same pattern, each of them. And so looking at the beginning, at the top here, we see the early intake submission information and late dates as well for the calendar. A checklist of important documents that need to be included with this. If it's applicable, it's noted otherwise. Certainly, we just have a streamlining of how the organization information is added to the application. We asked for the mandate and goals and objectives, which is consistent with how we moved it beforehand. Down below, this is just a reorganized piece of information here about the discipline of focus. It went from check boxes to just a fill in the blanks just to make it smaller and more condensed. Sections 2 and 3 from the original section or original application form have been condensed into section 2, but the information hasn't changed. So section 2 is very much the same. And so that information is there. Here we look at the description of activities, projects, and events. We ask that they download a project plan template, which will be linked to the final application. We ask them to provide the project name here, as well as activity start and end dates. This information is consistent with the last application form. We ask for information about the virtual event or physical event or activity location, any relevant goals or objectives here. And then we ask people applicants to go ahead and to check off these boxes, which they find that supports a community culture plan within their project. And then ultimately to explain those selections, should they check them off. It's really just, again, a condensing of information, just making it more user-friendly. One of the pieces that has changed is that we'd like the applicant to determine what they feel the benefits to the audience's participants in the community of Sault Ste. Marie is upon successful completion or implementation of their activity, project, or event. And then further, this question here, question number 8, if ACAP funding for this activity or event is approved, please describe what the applicant considers to be successful implementation and how will the applicant measure that success. And so those will be pieces that we can use moving forward. So these two pieces are relatively different from the first or original application. Moving forward into section 4, which is marketing, we're looking at asking the applicants to differentiate if they're looking for a local audience, if they're looking to draw from people within Algoma into Sault Ste. Marie, if they're whether it be regional or tourism, or otherwise, and please to describe those audiences.
Ali, can I interrupt you right there? I think there's a grammatical error. What audiences does the activity?
Yep. Thank you very much.
Maybe use another word instead of
For sure.
does. It doesn't sound good to my ear.
So I'll just mention as well that these are not finalized in any way.
Okay.
And
Just circle it and check it.
Yeah, for sure. I've got it noted. Thank you. Below this, describe any specific audiences that are intended. So if we want to capture any information about diverse audiences, this would be the place where the applicant could include that information. Further, how will the activity be promoted? This is a bit of a departure from the previous applications. We've asked very specific questions about the reach and traditional news media information that the applicants typically don't have. But certainly we can help to assess the application can be assessed by looking at what the initial plans are to help promote this. And if they should need some help, that's a conversation we can have too. Moving forward, just changing and refining the age demographics, the estimated attendance at each of these events, number of participants and volunteers. Again, just streamlining, but certainly not different information from what we were trying to capture before. And again, this question here, please provide a brief description of participant composition. It stays the same. Section 5, previous in-kind funding. This has changed pretty dramatically. We're asking again for the applicant to download a budget template and to fill it out as they had previously. And indicate whether or not they've received assistance in the past. What we haven't done is we've no longer asked them to list specific instances and how much and what type of streamline. That's information that the city should have, and we should be able to pull on the fly. So that's the information we can provide without asking for it. Certainly, I guess the thought process on that was that boards change over years, and some of that information is not necessarily like legacy information that's accessible to new board members all the time. So as maybe it should be, but certainly sometimes there are gaps in information. So it's just making it a little bit more user-friendly for applicants to use. Section 6 being the project budget. Again, we ask them to download the budget template that is typically included. There's a little bit of information here that has stayed consistent from the previous application. Section 7, a quick authorization about the contact and information. Everything is great that way. And then moving forward, this is how it can be submitted. And that's pretty much it. The second application, jumping right into it, the unincorporated not-for-profit, it follows the same format. It's got a few different requirements listed at the beginning that are separate and different, but again, making it more user-friendly for people who are in the unincorporated not-for-profit streamline. And so again, this is the same and follows the exact same format as the first version of the application that we just looked at. I'm going to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to move forward down below, eventually. And here you have the individual artist application form. Again, we're asking for a few different pieces of required information. And most of that doesn't change. We're asking for links to artist social media accounts, documentation or support materials. Again, this doesn't really differ from what we were asking before as part of the original ACAP application. We have some changes in verbiage here: artist name, artist address, contact information. Here's something different though. We've asked the artist to provide a statement or a general statement about their work. We've asked, again, ask them to indicate there's a split of focus, which is the same as the other forms. This has stayed the same. The section here, section 3 has primarily stayed the same as well. Again, we're asking about the benefits and measuring of success and what that looks like to the applicant. A little bit about marketing to go along with that attached marketing plan that hasn't changed. Again, the demographics have been streamlined. Participant composition, the template. Information that we should have is the applicant funding from previous. And again, the proposed budget, the authorization, and that's it. Donna?